Alright, we're ready for the final showdown of roll versus roll. This is part 3. And to make this more visually appealing, I've opened the piano up so we can see its internals here on the upper part, because it's a lot of fun to watch. And this is round 3. With Play-Rite, we've got Take Me Home, Country Roads, played by Walter Erickson. And with QRS, we have Take Me Home, Country Roads, played by Brian A. Williams. So, since we've been starting with the Play-Rite versions, let's start with the Play-Rite version. And yeah, I know I could have done this beforehand, but oh well. Then you wouldn't be able to see that cool plaque there at the beginning. Okay. Switch the... And in case, because I don't normally show this in the videos, you're going to get to see a little bit of something else. These are the levers here at the front of the piano that operate the controls. So this lever operates the shifter on the transmission there. So this is the re-roll position. No, that's the drive play position, and that's the re-roll position. And generally, whenever you're putting a roll on a piano, you leave it in the re-roll position to put the roll on. I know some of you are saying, get on with it. And then this is the speed control, and that moves this indicator back and forth on the front of the piano. So anyway. And then, of course, if you've seen the other videos on this channel, you know I electrified this piano. I aligned it with this screw right here, that there's a switch underneath. It needs to be in the play position when I turn that on. Okay, and all the holes need to be covered. Let's see, there's a little bit of air leakage here. Alright, anyway, enough. Take Me Home, Country Roads, played by Walter Erickson. That would be the signal. Oh, look at this. I like it when there's one of those at the end. Alright, and if this had an automatic reverse, it would slam it back over in the reverse like this. And then I'd have to... usually about there. Oh, no, I cut it off too early. So I'll have to just attach too early. Alright. Well, you know, I don't rehearse these things, you know, mess them up, so... And I noticed the rolls were winding a little loose, so I adjusted the back tension just a little bit there on the, there's a lot of debate about that, whether there should be any back tension at all. Some people say yay, some people say no. And yeah, I'm actually holding this roll the right way. Huh. Occasionally get things right. Okay, this is the QRS version with Brian Williams. And I know from playing this roll that it doesn't track quite right. I think it was punched on a Monday or a Friday. And then so, because this is a transposing piano, I can adjust the tracker bar a little bit. And sometimes it tracks a little better if I move it about halfway there like that. So we'll just go ahead and start with it there, and then hopefully it doesn't creep back into the normal position. So just go a little further, and then it looks like it should stay there just fine. So this is the QRS version, and then at the conclusion of this roll I'll give my thoughts on the 3 rolls that we've heard over the course of this series. Tempo's going to be 85 on this one. Got one too at the end. So what this is going to do is going to play all the notes an octave apart. off, and I'll re-roll this after I get done making the video. All right, so we had 3 rolls that we listened to, and I went ahead and set the others aside when I opened the piano, so I don't have them to refer back to. But you know what we listened to. We listened to Bridge Over Troubled Waters on Play-Rite and QRS. We listened to The Birth of the Blues on Play-Rite and QRS. And then we listened to Take Me Home Country Roads, the John Denver tune, on QRS and Play-Rite. And, well, let's start with this one, since it's the one most recently played, Country Roads. I thought they were both pretty neat. This one here wasn't a very bad interpretation, wasn't a bad playing. I thought some of the harmonies were a little bit weird. Maybe it's just the tuning on the piano is trying to drift out a little bit since the weather's been a little extreme, but overall not too bad. It sounded pretty good. And then the Brian Williams version on QRS, I also enjoyed that. I think maybe the Brian Williams version captured a little bit of the spirit of the original recording a little better. But it's been a while since I've heard the original recording, so I don't know. Maybe the Play-Rite one does. I certainly thought the Play-Rite version was definitely a really nice interpretation of it overall. So it's kind of a tough call. I'm gonna say it's a tie on this one. I like them both. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna say that. Okay, now Birth of the Blues. You'll have to refer back to the video where I had it, because I'm not going to walk back over there to the other side of the room to grab the roll. But Birth of the Blues, I loved the Play-Rite version so much better than the QRS version. The way that they mixed in the Gershwin melody there from Rhapsody in Blue, I thought that was a neat little touch. I'm sure from reading the label on the QRS box that originally was associated with some other performance, and I'm sure the QRS version is more of a straight interpretation of what the original recording or the original stage, live orchestra version of that song probably is. I know it doesn't sound like I've read up on that song. I haven't. I'm just going off of what I heard on the piano roll, but the QRS roll, yeah, it was a good rock solid interpretation. I thought it sounded good, had some good counter melodies there, but I really enjoyed the way the little Gershwin tagged melody lines there were integrated in on the Play-Rite version. So round 3 was a tie. Round 2 goes to Play-Rite. Okay. And leave your comments below what you think. All right. Number 1, the first one, Bridge Over Troubled Waters. We had the Play-Rite and we had the QRS versions. I know the QRS one was done by Rudy Martin. And I've got quite a few Rudy Martin rolls. I've got quite a few Walter Erickson rolls. They both have style about them. They both have their own interpretations of the music. I think the Rudy Martin interpretation is a much closer fit to the studio album that was released by Simon and Garfunkel, and it's got a few places that are a little different. The intro's a little different and the outro's a little different, but for the most part, the verses, the little break between the first and second verse where it starts, the Sail on Silver Girl part, I thought those were very well done, and the piano breaks, the intro was long and the piano break was long, and it sort of captured some of the sound of that recording, of the original Simon and Garfunkel recording. And if you're like me, that's the version of that song that you know and like. Not everyone's heard that, though. They may have heard some of the more recent interpretations that have been done by Paul Simon. They may only know that song from the Play-Rite version, and I thought the Play-Rite version was all right. It was a good version. It certainly is one that I will play again, you know, it was enjoyable, but I liked the QRS version better. I thought it was a better interpretation, and it seemed to go, you know, most of the Rudy Martin interpretations have been very good at capturing the sound of the song that most people know, the studio, you know, the version that you normally would hear. And there's good things and bad things about that, because it's tempting to try to adapt music to sort of a player piano sound, but a player piano is, let's be honest, a piano. It can sound like anything. It can do high classical music, opera. It can do, you know, ragtime, jazz, everything. And I think it's a testament to A Bridge Over Troubled Water that it is such a good song that it lends itself to adaptation, but also it does feature, the original recording does feature piano quite prominently, and I think that has to be taken into account, because that's one of the joys of having a player piano, is you're not just listening to a recording of a piano, you're listening to a live recreation of a performance of a piano, really a live performance. You're playing the performance back. Even though this is not a reproducing piano by any means, you still have the rhythm and the note placement and all those things, and a live piano sound, which you cannot duplicate with a recording. So anyway, I might be a little off base, off topic here. No, maybe not. So round one goes to QRS. So we've got QRS for round one, Play-Rite for round two, and a tie for round three. I guess the mistracking a little bit, I can't really blame QRS a lot. I've got a lot more QRS rolls than I do Play-Rite rolls, but none of my Play-Rite rolls mistrack. So we're going to go ahead and give round three to Play-Rite. Okay, they're kind of the underdog in this competition. So, roll versus roll. Best 2 out of 3 goes to Play-Rite. So, please leave your... getting a call. Anyway, we'll cut the video off there. Please leave your comment in the section below, this Oklahoma Bridges, and thank you for watching.